Welcome
back to another episode of Shoot the 60.
Of Shoot the 60. Let's go. You feel me? Now, I don't know about you. See, I knew you was going to start, yo. All right. I don't know about you, but I just figured we do owe an explanation.
We do.
But I don't feel like this is the time and place. So if you guys really want to know what the hiatus was about, you go check out the next episode of What's the Word. We're here today to talk about topics. Topics.
You know, the traditional format.
Exactly.
We've been gone for a little bit, but we back. If you watching this on YouTube, welcome. If you look at the new setup, we want to shout out to our new cameraman, Jameer Robinson.
All right, come on now.
Hit him up. Jameer Robinson Studios. Hit him up. Got this shit looking real good. Right. But yeah.
He said he looks way too good to be blessing y'all with his visual presence, but just know.
Yeah.
That man looks great right now.
Yeah.
He's over there. He's doing his thing. Come on
now. But yeah. But if you're watching this, then this is probably January 1st. Right. So Happy New Year's. It's 2024.
Happy New Year.
What else we got to say before we get started?
I don't know. I think we should start this episode off by stating one thing we're grateful for, and I'm not starting go.
Wow. I'm grateful for you.
Okay. Wow.
Grateful for my best bud. I just told you like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Wow. You don't have to be grateful for me. It's okay.
I wasn't. But yo, so like I am grateful for you, yo. Wow. Come on. But I just felt like that would have been too predictable to be like, I'm grateful for you too, and that's my answer. But I am grateful for you. You know that.
Thanks.
But I don't know. I think randomly, I think I'm grateful for how great the Baltimore Ravens are doing. All my football fans, you feel me?
Don't speak too soon.
Yeah,
because if y'all don't know, y'all know we record this months ahead.
Exactly. So like, even though you're gonna be hearing this around January 1st, just know right now we're doing good, and I'm just manifesting that we will continue to, but we shall see.
But we can just dive right into it. So this is my episode, and we're gonna get a little not conspiracy theory. It's not that.
I would say I like a good conspiracy theory.
Corruption. I guess corruption is the right word. So today we're going to talk about two separate cases that include two lab chemists charged with evidence tampering in the same state. And this resulted in the single largest dismissal of convictions in U.S. history. Damn. What that large number is, I'll tell you later.
All right. Making it suspenseful.
Okay, so the details of each case they're a little different, but I think the main thing that you can get from both of them is like how the justice system is not perfect. Like the legal system is not perfect. Everything is fucked up, and we don't really think about, chemists when we think about it. And specifically, I'm talking about like people who are analyzing drugs to confirm that they're actually drugs. Like that's what I'm referring to.
Okay.
So before we get into it, I'm gonna just give a little bit of context. So in the United States, if you get arrested for possession, right? Whatever, like cocaine, heroin, whatever, right?
All right.
Basically whatever charges are against you is typically based on what's the word I'm looking for? Not the suspicion. Yeah, the suspicion of the officer, like whatever they think it is, right? They don't know. Probable cause, right? And so they send the evidence to the labs to get it tested by chemists. And basically, these chemists, they do hundreds of cases in a month, sometimes dozens in a day, and thousands in a year.
Ooh.
Now, these two cases specifically happened in Massachusetts. And during the time, it was two labs that handled most of the drug cases in Massachusetts. It was the Hinton lab and the Amherst lab. And yeah, and it's two different cases. It's two different people, but each one worked at the other lab. Yeah.
Is it two different time periods too?
Nope, around the same time period.
Oh gosh.
So these cases are over like they concluded about a decade ago, like 2013-ish.
Dang, that's not bad.
Yeah. So the first person we're gonna get into, her name is Annie Dookhan. I think I'm pronouncing it right, but we're just gonna call her Annie.
Annie.
So Annie was born in 1977 in Trinidad, and she moved to Massachusetts with her parents during her childhood. She attended the elite high school Boston Latin Academy, and then she went to college in 1996, where she majored in biochemistry. So after college, she began her career as a chemist. She was, working at the William A. Hinton State Laboratory Institute in late 2003. But we just gonna call it Hinton Lab or
something like that.
Yeah. So after she started working there, she got married to her husband and she had a little baby in 2006. So in her first year on the job, she tested around like 9,000 drug samples, which is 3 times her coworkers' average. So that's just her first year. She's doing 9,000 drug samples. Mind you, it's like a whole procedure that chemists have to follow.
Right.
So when basically they get the evidence, right? They have to do a preliminary description of the evidence. So they'll have like the description of whatever they get, with the case.
Okay.
And then they also have to write down their own description. Then they have to verify chain of custody, which is just making sure that like all the times are matching as far as like where the evidence is going, how they're receiving it, and all of that.
Okay.
They have to take the weight of it.
Right.
And then they have to go through multiple tests. 2 different. These aren't all the tests, but this is just 2 that I could find. It's called a spot color test, and basically it's just different drugs are different colors within this test. Right.
Because I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I was just ready to say, like, because I think I'm only familiar with that because a lot of times, like, officers that's on the road will have those. Like, if you get pulled over or something, hell yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
You get
that.
pulled over or something, yo, and, like, let's just say you get pulled over, you got some baking soda or something. Bro, they're going to test that bitch, and they use, like, the dye or whatever the fuck. They probably going to put it in some type of shit. They're going to drop the shit in there. And if it changes a certain color, they'll let them know, oh, yeah, this definitely has this or that or whatever.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, hell yeah, yo.
I learned stuff. Okay. Another test is also called the mass spectrometer. And basically, it just kind of breaks the chemical down into what they call a chemical fingerprint. Okay. And each, like, substance, cocaine, heroin, meth, everything has its own fingerprint. And they just compare it to make sure that it is. Okay. So this sounds like a lengthy test. Seriously, test, right?
Yeah.
And we work in the same lab, and I'm doing 3,000 samples a year, but you're doing 9. What the fuck are you doing?
Like,
so they described her as basically as a hard worker. She would come to work early. She would leave late. She would skip lunches. She would take her paperwork home. Like, she was doing the thing to the naked eye. Yeah. It looked like she was really getting to it. But the numbers was like so high. Her supervisors was like, "Oh, we gotta do something. Like, we gotta look into this just to make sure."
Yeah, like
good. Just And they ended up doing an audit and found nothing was wrong.
Oh, okay.
And this was in 2010.
All right, okay.
But in that same year, her fellow, coworker, her fellow chemist, found 7 times where she incorrectly identified a drug sample as a certain narcotic when it was something else. So 7 times she said this is coke, and they like, no, it's salt. So,
it's just let's continue to hear about this lady.
Annie.
Right, Annie.
So Annie.
Trinidadian Annie at that.
So just to give a little bit of context, in 2009, based off of a case called I'm gonna butcher this last name, Melendez Diaz.
Okay. You know what? I feel like you get an A for effort, yo.
Thanks. Based off of this case, the court in 2009, based off of this case, the court declared that criminal defendants had the right to question in court whatever chemists performed drug testing on their cases. So prior to 2009, if you get caught with weed and I test it and I say yes, weed, I didn't have to come to court to testify. After that ruling, now you have to come to court to testify because technically you're a witness.
Right. I was going to say, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense.
So at this point, Annie and her coworkers, they was going to court all the time. And because of this, the average number of tests that they would complete, it it decreased each month.
Okay.
Only, naturally they got to be in court more.
Yeah.
So they decreased from 400 to 200, right?
Okay.
Like her coworkers. But Annie was still testing around 800 samples per month. But everybody else went down to 200.
Like, hold up, yo. So, in the midst of all this, Annie is still doing 800 and something samples a month.
She's still running it up.
Yo, let me just continue to listen because I'm just trying to figure out when she even has the time. Bless you.
Thank you. But yeah, so she was still doing 800 a month. So in 2011, she was suspended from her laboratory because she was caught forging one of her coworkers' signatures.
Yeah, that's OD.
And this sparked an investigation.
As it should.
So the police, they talking to the coworkers, they talking to the supervisors. They like, we got to figure out what's going on. And basically, the coworkers are saying, Annie been on some suspicious shit for the last few years. Like, I don't understand how her numbers like booming like this. Like, this don't even make sense.
Hey, yo.
So the police, they go talk to Annie. They like, what's up? Like,
yeah.
Like, what's tea? Like, how your numbers
what's
jumping?
Going on, Annie? Like,
why you forging signatures and shit? And then she like, no, like everything chill. And then she like, okay, I did it. And she confessed.
Hey, yo.
So what did she confess to exactly? She confessed to something called dry labbing. So dry labbing is basically, she did not test every substance that came across her desk. She would just look at it and be like, oh, that's cocaine.
Cocaine.
So like, let's see let's say 30 samples came in, right? And they all white. They all look like cocaine. She would test one and then she'd be like, all right, the rest of these bitches cocaine. Fuck it.
Yo, I need people that's listening, like, to really put this in perspective right now. This is people's freedom on the line in some cases. This is people's livelihood. Yep. And this woman... Yo, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
So, and they were actually able to prove, like, they actually went back to test one of the things that she said she tested. And a substance that she reported to be cocaine, it was actually sodium chloride, which is table salt.
Right, like...
And she said it was cocaine. So she also admitted to tampering with the samples, writing in a statement to police that she turned a negative sample into a positive a few times.
Yo.
And the only motive that she would give was that she was trying to maximize her career. But I was like, oh, the light. I was like, that's kind of fucking weird. Like, that bitch is weird. So basically... what also came out, almost skipped this part. Emails between her and like prosecutors came out, and basically prosecutors were like seeking her out specifically. So yeah, so basically what the procedure is supposed to be is it's supposed to be assigned randomly.
Oh, okay, hold up, yo. Now I'm putting it together. Like what you're saying, yeah, yo. All right.
So it's supposed to be like, okay, we got these, you know what I'm saying? We got these samples. Mo, Flem, you get this one, you get that one. That's supposed to be. They'd be like, no. They'd be like, Annie, like, I need you to get doing this. Like, I need you to do
on
this
some
one.
corrupt shit. Like,
on some corrupt shit. Or they would, and like within those emails, she would, it kind of gave the sense of like, she wasn't like this neutral person just doing her job. She was like playing in favor of the prosecutors. Yeah. Like, she would say shit like, oh, like, I'm gonna give yo an extra 5 years or something. Like, I hope yo get an extra 5 years or something. And she be talking to the prosecutors like, oh, I'm just so happy to help and all this other shit.
Oh my gosh. Like, what? Did she just have a criminal bias? Like...
So Annie was a little weird. She also was lying about, like, she just would lie about dumb shit. Like, she lied and said that she had her master's in biochemistry. She did not have her master's in biochemistry. She was lied and told people she was going to night school at Harvard. She was not going to night school at Harvard.
Yo.
And then I'm gonna just add more, and then we're gonna leave Annie. But like, she was also like delusional. So
was she?
She was very delusional. Oh, I'm sorry. And she would also, when she would receive emails from defense attorneys, like asking like, hey, just try to get an update, she would basically email the prosecutors on that case and be like, what should I tell them? Like,
Yo.
Like, tell me what to say.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Did we feel like she was getting paid off at any point for this?
We don't know.
We don't know?
We do not know.
All right.
But I'm going to tell you why she a weirdo, right? So it was a prosecutor named George Papachristos. That is his name.
Poppy.
We call him George.
I'm going to call him Poppy.
He was a prosecutor. Him and Annie only met one time. They only met one time at a work setting.
All right.
And Annie had a weird obsession with him. So she created fake emails. Like, she created a fake email of a woman named Suzanne who was supposed to be her friend. And this Suzanne was like, hey, Annie girl, we got to get you a man, something. Mind you, she's married. She's like, we got to get you a man. You should see what's up with George. And this email that she created herself from a fake email, she forwarded to George Christos. Yeah, to try to I guess put the thought in his head that she trying to fuck with him.
Bruh.
And long story short, I don't know if I've read some of the emails. I don't know if he was trying to they not that bad. I can read one. All right,
yeah, let me hear at least one, yo, please.
All right, so this is an email from Papachristos to this is an email from Annie to him. She said, hi, and this was, I guess they had a phone conversation in which she talked to him about her unhappiness.
Yeah.
And like I said, she was telling people she was divorced. She was not divorced. She was married. But she said, hey, George, thanks for being concerned about me and my well-being. I truly appreciate it. I may have not given you that impression over the phone, but thanks for being there. And she said a little bit of other shit. Most people would describe me as little Annie, always with a smile. Always with a smile and always there and willing to help. I definitely put others over myself. This is work emails. Bruh. I'm not even okay. And then he replied, and you can interpret this how you want. He said, no worries, Annie. You don't have to explain yourself. Blah, blah, blah. I wanted to be a caring ear in case you needed to vent. That's just what good people do. We help each other and we listen to each other. And then if you go forward, he say, my problems are far less important than yours. Believe me, mine revolve around meeting the right girl, which up to this point hasn't happened and it is frustrating. But that's a story for another time. Talk to you soon. So it's like, nigga, what you saying?
Right. He was doing good up until that point.
And this is where he dialed back. He tried to bring it back, right? Because I at one point, Annie finds Annie's husband figures out that she's talking to him. And so George emails Annie and say, Annie, I got 8 text messages on my work cell phone from your cell. And according to the messages, they were from your husband. He said a few things that didn't make any sense to me. I have to tell my bosses. And then he receives another email. I'm sorry, I should give dates, right? Sorry. All right. So the previous one about the husband was August 12th, 2009. This next email is from March 24th, 2010. So this is a few months. And this is from Annie to George. Everything that you know about me and my personal life is a lie. I have lied to you about my marriage and my husband. I will have no contact with you in the future, Annie.
Okay.
And March 25th, George sends this long paragraph basically saying look, this is professional. I'm not trying to mess with you. I don't know somebody hacking you. So what he say is he don't know what she talking about. He say, I do not know anything about your family situation, nor is it something that we have ever discussed in our conversations. Our contact has been, is, and will be strictly professional, and it is necessary for successful prosecution of these drug cases. I have never initiated contact in a personal nature, nor do I intend to.
Oh, it seemed that's a crazy perspective though, bro. Because he pulled a 360, he literally pulled I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even know you. He pulled one of them, crazy.
It's okay. So that was 2010, right? That was March 26, 2010. But then we got emails about, I'm not even going to keep going down this rabbit hole because it's a lot
emails,
of emails.
All right.
But it's another email where she is talking to him about her Greek heritage and career moves. And
her Greek heritage. Where did Greek come from? Like,
that's what it say.
What? Wait a minute. Like,
that's what it say, bro. But we gonna get past that because I could talk forever. But you can go. I'll put the link in the description if y'all want to see it.
I ain't gonna lie to you because I need to see the rest of the emails because it said like she was wilding.
She was wilding. But anyway, long story short, the reason I said this is because once the whole scandal blew out about her, faking the drug tests and shit. The emails between them came out too, and he was a prosecutor. Long story short, he resigned and he became a defense attorney. And I watched the documentary. Excuse me, y'all know I be watching the documentaries, but he's in the documentary and he make it seem like he ain't want nothing to do with Shorty. So I don't know. But basically, long story short, she is arrested and she is convicted. And she was sentenced to 3 to 5 years of imprisonment on November 22nd, 2013. She pleaded guilty to charges of perjury, obstruction of justice, and evidence tampering.
Bruh, so what did the fucking letter shit have to do with the drug shit, bruh? Like, she was just a liar.
She was just a
in
liar.
General, she was lying about
she was
her life. The medicine.
She was lying about her life, the medicine.
Bruh.
She just wanted attention. And it's crazy because they show pictures of her when she's younger.
Little Annie. She said they always called me little.
That's some weird shit. But they showed pictures of her when she was younger and she was pretty.
Was she ugly now?
She just like an old lady nerd, like a lab nerd. But she was pretty. They show her pictures from high school. She was pretty. She would have got all the niggas.
Like I said, I don't understand what led her down that path as an adult. She had potential, but I just...
But now we're going to move on to Sonja Farak. So Sonja...
Okay.
And at the end, we can decide who's worse.
All right.
Because same story, but totally different.
Okay.
So Sonja Farak, she was born in San Diego, California. She ended up moving into Newport, Rhode Island because of her dad. He was in the Navy in 1982. She was the oldest. She had one little sister. In high school, she played a lot of sports. She was the first girl in her area to play high school football. And she graduated high school in I know a little snap.
Right. Breaking barriers.
But not forever. We not snapping
forever.
Yeah.
Okay. One snap.
One
snap, right.
She graduated high school in 1996. And she went to college and she majored in biochemistry. Okay. So she worked in the chem lab for the state of Massachusetts at the Hinton Laboratory. The same place.
At the Hinton, right? We back at the Hinton.
But I don't think if I said this or not, but the Hinton Laboratory and the Amherst Laboratory, they both are in Massachusetts. One deals with West Massachusetts and the other one deals with the East.
Okay.
Hinton is the big one. Hinton they have 17 subdivisions and they test everything from HIV to drugs. They test everything.
Dang, yeah.
But the Amherst is a little bit smaller.
Okay.
It was only 4 people working at Amherst. Yeah, and they only do drugs.
Okay.
So excuse me. So Sonja, she transfers to the Amherst. She all right, I'm gonna go fuck with the Amherst lab. So the Amherst lab could be described as a mess, underfunded. They didn't keep track of materials. They didn't have a log. The fridge that kept the drugs didn't have a lock. And when I say the drugs, I mean so in drug chem labs, they have something called standards. So basically, the standards are pure substances that they use to test against whatever comes in to make sure. So they have pure cocaine,
pure heroin, pure
everything, and they just use that to test it.
Okay.
So, like I said before, chemists were not allowed to assign samples to themselves, right? At the Hinton lab.
Yeah.
But at Amherst, they did that shit all the time. Chemists.
So hold. I'm gonna interrupt. What you mean assign yourself?
It's supposed to be random. It's supposed to be, hey, it's supposed to, all right, if Jameer is the supervisor, he's supposed to be all right, Flem, you get this, Mo, you get that.
Okay, I got you.
Right. And, so at the Hinton lab, they pretty much tried to do that, but at Amherst, because it was so small, it was only 4 people. Damn, it was only 4 people working there.
Yo, so basically at Amherst, it was on some like, okay, so these 3 are coke cases. I pretty much handle coke. You handle, your drug, whatever.
Yep.
Like, we're real small, so like everybody pretty much not supposed to, but they got their like areas.
They was just doing whatever they wanted. Like, they wasn't following any type of like rules or standards.
Yeah,
or,
like
anything.
Crazy. What's going on in there?
And they described the Amherst lab as being super, like I said, super underfunded. So the chemists were also not getting paid what they were, what I'm saying? What they were owed or whatever. And basically they just kind of had like a factory like mentality. Like, they just trying to churn out as many samples as possible. Yeah. There's no cameras in the lab. It was just a mess because this small lab, they were struggling to keep up. Like I said, there's only 2 in the state of Massachusetts. Yeah. So within Massachusetts, big as fuck.
Yeah. So I can only imagine like
4 people doing samples for drug cases across multiple cities, like more than 5 cities. So they was stressed out.
I believe it, bro.
Sonja was a little stressed out. So in college, Sonja, she had a couple mental health problems. And when she was in college, she looked up meth. She was like, I wonder how meth would feel. And so Pragett's working to the lab.
Wait. Yo, I just wanted to like elaborate that is just like kind of a one-off thing because
I wonder how meth would feel.
I wonder how meth would feel.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just crazy to wake up to think. Like,
that's what she felt. She was like, I wonder how meth would feel. So one day she was at the lab and she was like, and she's by herself. She was like, I'm gonna take some meth.
All right, like, okay.
So it was liquid meth.
Whoa.
It was liquid meth. So she took a pipette, a little pipette.
Yeah.
Took a pipette and she put it on her tongue and she ate it. And
like
she liked it. So she liked it. And at first she was only doing it at work. And then she took it home. And then it went from taking it once a day to multiple times a day. She started doing liquid meth from 2005 to 2009. And then one day her supervisor, his name is Jim Hatchett. We can call him Jimmy. So he was there. And like I said, everything was all over the place. So randomly one day he was like, all right, I need to do an audit of like everything that we have and everything that's in the fridge. Okay. And she was shook because she was taken from the liquid meth, bro.
The raw this pure.
Is 2005 to 2009. That's 4 years of her taking.
Like, hold on, we know that ain't that much meth flowing through the city. Like, you
exactly. So it started to deplete. So she was like, "Oh shit, what I'm gonna do?" So she adds water to the liquid meth, thinking like, "Oh, it's good,"
Yeah.
But apparently, like, liquid meth has some type of oil in it, like some type of oil in it, and so if you mix water with oil, it separates. And she like, oh shit, like she should.
Like, shouldn't she fucking know that? Like, dumbass.
She's a drug addict.
But like, bruh, like
she's a drug addict.
Yeah.
So, eventually, she's just like, well, fuck it. I guess I'm going down.
I'm caught then.
But Jim, he looked at it once again. Negligence. Here we go. Looked at it, didn't test it. He said, oh, I guess because it's old, it's separating. Just throw it away. So
not only did he not fully investigate that, but then he probably ended up replacing that batch with a fresh batch.
He had to,
because if he thrown that one out, they still need to run a test. He probably was like, yeah, let's just get
some more meth.
Get a fresh ounce of that meth,
fresh liquid meth. So after this, she started taking amphetamine, and then started taking amphetamine. She started taking ketamine, and so like I said, she was already doing meth, and then she started doing cocaine. But as she started to realize that a lot of the samples that was coming, like, they wasn't getting enough cocaine like coming in, so she was like, all right, like, how can I stretch this cocaine? She said, I have an idea. I'm gonna make crack. Hey y'all, before we continue, we definitely want to thank the Be More brand for sponsoring this episode. You know, it's cold outside. We know you need some new drip. We need some new hoodies. We got on Be More brand hoodies right now. And if you like what you see, make sure you go follow them on Instagram at the Be More brand and check out that website as well, thebemorebrand.com.
The Be More brand also does graphic design and printing services for any brand that wants to help get a little push and get a little extra help with their creative process.
So once again, follow them on Instagram at the Be More brand or go to their website, thebemorebrand.com. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah, she ain't had no more cocaine. She said, I'm gonna make it stretch. And she said, yeah, I'm gonna make crack. So, you know, she had the materials in her lab and she made some crack, you know? And that's what's that? Baking soda. Cause what is it?
Yo.
I mean, never mind. I don't know.
Cause what is it? Like,
I don't know. But basically, she made a crack pipe out of materials in the lab, and she she said she used something like aluminum foil or something.
Yeah.
Because like apparently like I don't know crack. I don't be around.
I hope not, bro.
So like apparently it's like a certain odor that comes if you use like a glass pipe. So she used aluminum foil, and basically she would smoke in the evidence room. She would smoke at her workstation if nobody was in the lab. And she had access to the schedules that was coming in, and like I said, she would use her access to the schedules to assign cocaine cases to herself. And basically she would assign like the big batches. So if the schedule say, all right, we got 100 kilos of cocaine coming in, she like, all right, I'm gonna do this one because then I can take some off the top and nobody going to suspect it.
Yo,
so
like, no.
She would also go to the bathroom and smoke crack. She would go to her car and smoke crack, and eventually her colleagues start to notice because she would be gone for like 20 minutes, like just gone, and like multiple times throughout the day, and they're like, all right, something going on. So eventually, Jim pulls her to the side in 2012, like, what's up? And she like, I got personal stuff going on, like, but
hold up, let's reenact this scene real quick, yo. So you be Jim and I can be her.
Sonja, I need to holler at you real quick.
What's going on, Jim?
She was not like that.
I know, yo. I just want to exaggerate it, yo. Let's keep it going though.
They can't see us.
Oh, they can hear us though. Let's keep it going. 2 more lines, yo. Please, yo.
So, what's up? You've been leaving a lot.
You sure about that, Jim? I don't know. Felt like I just been doing my job, Okay,
I'm gonna go back to the
all right.
I'm not having
too much fun, yo. All right. Because you knew that could have just gone on endlessly, but go ahead.
I'm gonna show you a picture of it when we done. But,
chill, yo. That's gonna make me laugh, yo. Because I'm just already visualizing
she actually
stuff.
don't look that bad. But
did she look better than Annie?
Fuck no.
Oh, then never mind.
But yeah. So yeah, she was making the crack, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so now let's fast forward to January 18th, 2013. And I'm sorry if I didn't say this or if this wasn't implied. She was getting high every day. She was high every day. Yeah,
once you said she was smoking at the desk and in the bathroom, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Once crack came into play, I'm like, she's doing that daily. Like, ain't no casually smoking crack, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
so, January 18th, 2013. Basically, the police, at the Massachusetts State Police, they get a call from Jim, who, like I said, he's the supervisor at the Amherst lab. Mm-hmm. And they like, hey, like, we got some shit going on. Y'all got to come through.
All right.
So what happened was on that day, one of the other chemists, her name was Sharon Salem, who worked in the lab. She couldn't find 2 samples in reference to a case. Like, she could not find them. So then she was like, all right, let me check the fridge. She go to the fridge. Still can't find them. So it comes out that Sonja is the one who's supposed to be looking at these samples. So Sharon tells Jim,
right,
and Jim is like, okay, like, I'm the supervisor, I'm gonna handle it. So Jim is looking all around, and Jim goes through Sonja's desk, and he still doesn't find it. But then he finds a container with something that looks like fake cocaine. And he's like, okay. And it was clay, and it was like putty. It was like some weird shit. And then eventually he does find the missing samples but they were dated, the samples were dated for a week ago, like they were completed a week ago. But then they were in a sealed bag, but the bag was sliced open. So basically, after they review a sample, they have to heat seal the bag. So it looked like she completed it, she heat sealed it, and then she never like stored it she just kept it and then she sliced it back open. But it was something in there, like in the bags or whatever. So Jim takes it out and he tests the samples, and the samples come back negative. But when they look in the computer, her report said the samples were positive. So now we got contradictions and what's going on?
Yeah, okay, I get it.
You get what I'm saying?
I get what you mean, yo.
So they like, all right, where's Sonja? So Sonja had left early because, like I said, the chemists, they had to start testifying in court.
Yeah.
After 2009. So she was at court, and she went on her lunch break, and apparently they didn't notice at the time, but on her lunch break she smoked crack. She smoked crack on her lunch break, and she comes back in the courtroom, and the police is like, "Hey, we was looking for you. Like, can we talk to you about, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on?" And they talked to her.
With what?
And they talked to her, and basically they try to question her, and she invoked her Fifth Amendment for real. She's like, "I'm not talking to y'all."
Now she pled the fifth.
They get a search warrant for her car, and they end up finding drugs in her car. And she's arrested for evidence tampering and possession of cocaine.
Yo. So let's can we rewind a little bit back to the whole, like, when he went at her desk and found a bag that was open and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Was she, like, I'm kind of having a slow moment. Okay. So was, in some instances, it was like she was logging it as like drugs, but what was in the heat sealed shit wasn't actually drugs, because the actual drugs she was just kind of like,
for this particular instance.
For that particular instance? All right, okay. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure I comprehended, like, what was going on, but I did. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Any more questions?
Nope.
Okay. So, we're not done yet, y'all. So, at this point, it's this big scandal. And mind you, this happened within months of each other. Like, the Annie shit and then Sonja. This happening within months of each other. So, like, everybody is like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So at this, a lot of defense attorneys, they like, oh, like, let me check if my client cases were reviewed, you know, the drug cases were reviewed by Sonja.
Yeah.
So people checking it, and specifically, I'm going to be talking about a lawyer. His name is Luke Ryan, and he, like, pretty much, like, he wasn't playing. He was like, y'all not going to fucking play with me. I'm going to get y'all. So he had a couple of clients who, you know, who had drug cases, and Sonja reviewed them over the course of her career, whatever.
Right.
And basically, at this point, everybody's thinking like, okay, she doing drugs and shit, and she high while she doing her job. These cases gonna get thrown out, right? Like, they just gonna get thrown out. But that's not what ended up happening. So what ended up happening was basically they basically said she was only taking drugs for 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, they tried to say that she wasn't taking drugs throughout her whole career. And from that, at first, what they did was they let everybody out of jail, right? Like, they didn't dismiss their case. They just said, all right, like, you're free for right now, like, on this contingency. Okay. And then when they was like, oh, okay, so we only going to say that she been taking drugs for the last 6 months.
Right.
So if your case wasn't within those 6 months, then you had to come back to jail. Yep.
Yo, could you imagine that, bro? Like,
I couldn't imagine. Like, I'm out and now I'm not out.
Like, hey, remember when we told you, like, it was just
I'm not coming back.
Conditional.
Right.
Like, yeah.
So at this point, Luke Ryan, the attorney,
right,
he's like, okay, we need to get this evidence that, you know, the prosecution is looking at against Sonja, because the attorney general's office was responsible for prosecuting Sonja.
All right.
So he like, all right, I need this evidence. So he requests the evidence, and they basically send him a whole bunch of bullshit. They send him a whole bunch of papers, like thousands of papers from the lab, but it's like a microscope instructions on how to use the microscope, and then like instructions on how to use the spectrometer, but like nothing else. So he's like, okay. Yeah. And then he ends up they take photographs of the car when they searched it.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, but like, what about the shit that's in the car?
Yeah. And
basically they just labeled it. They said they found papers in her car, and they didn't in any way did they specify what it was. They just named it assorted lab paperwork. So Luke is like, okay, what is assorted lab paperwork?
Like, what is that?
Let me get that. And he finds out that this assorted lab paperwork was only given to the prosecutor's office. Right.
Yeah,
so
come
then
on now.
he's like, okay, prosecutor's office, let me see it.
Yeah.
And they like, okay, we're gonna get back to you. And they get back to him and they like, no. Since it's an open investigation, you cannot see the assorted lab paperwork. And if people don't know, like, criminal cases last a long time. From arrest to conviction.
A long time.
They last a long time. And so it would be about a year and a half before Sonja's case closed, like before she was sentenced. And she was sentenced to 18 months.
I ain't gonna lie. It's gonna sound crazy, but 18 months to be doing the purest of drugs for what? She only
got charged for doing it for 6 months.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, bruh, you took an 18-month hit. But you was doing the purest of shit for the past 4 years?
No.
It's
2013. No. It's 2012.
So that's...
I started my career... She started her career in 2004.
In 2004. So that's 8 years? 8 years of, again, getting high on some of the finest scante you can find.
Yep.
But for, 18 months you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, like... The right fiend, yo. Maybe I just live in a fucked up ass city, but the right fiend to do that, bro. Like, if I said, bro, you can hit some grade A government shit for the next 8 years, but at the end of it, you're gonna have to do 18 months.
They gonna be like, okay.
I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
18 months? Like, bro, what?
But let me...
I'm hung up on that. It's like,
let me keep going.
All right.
So, yeah, basically... It wasn't until after she was convicted that Ryan and Luke could go look at, the evidence.
Okay.
So, and just to include this, when she was during her trial, she never exposed any other information. Like, pretty much, they only had the information that they found, that evidence that they found. She never disclosed anything else. Like, she never said, "I've been doing drugs since 2004." Blah blah.
Yeah, cool.
She never said that. So, she get her 18 months. And Luke is like, all right, let me go see the paperwork. So he goes to the Attorney General's office. And basically, it's a box of the assorted lab work. So this assorted lab work is pamphlets and flyers. And it's specifically given, it's like those pamphlets and flyers that are given to people who abuse drugs. And so he's thinking like, okay, so she must have been talking to a therapist.
Right.
So then he also finds something called a ServiceNet diary card. Mm-hmm. And basically, they give these cards to drug abusers, and they can basically track how they feel, their mental health. And on these cards, it had the days of the week and dates in December, the one that was in her car.
Yeah.
And on December 22nd, Sonja checked a box that confirmed that she used drugs on that day. And at the bottom portion of the card, she wrote, like she hand wrote, like, I tried not to use drugs today, but I still did it. She also wrote that she took a sample of liquid LSD. That day she couldn't drive. She was hallucinating all day. She also smoked crack that day. And she says that she doesn't remember doing any of the drug analysis in the afternoon, that she only did it in the morning. But they compare records from that day, and it showed that she actually did do drug analysis that afternoon, even though she didn't remember. So Luke Ryan is like, oh hell no, because at this point,
right,
I don't know if y'all missed this or what, but remember, the prosecution had this evidence,
right,
and they did not tell him. Now I don't know if y'all know law or not, but it is the prosecution's responsibility, if they have any evidence that will show that the defendant is not guilty, they have to turn it over. Yeah. Like, that's the law. So Luke Ryan is like, y'all had this and y'all didn't tell me, and I got all these clients whose case has been handled by Shorty. I want an investigation. Yeah. So basically, the old attorney general that he was initially dealing with, during the case,
right,
they ended up aging out. So they had new people come in.
I don't know why I don't know what I was expecting you to say, but aging out was just crazy.
Maybe that's not the right word, but it was a new attorney general administration within the attorney general's office.
Okay.
And so he like, okay, y'all, like, what's up? Like, I need an investigation. And the investigation is done. And basically, they like, well, the lab assorted paperwork, we did know about it, but what did they say? They said we knew about it, but it's not a cover-up. Or something silly. And he was like, how is it not a cover-up? And they basically said it wasn't a cover-up because basically people within the prosecution's office knew it. It was something stupid. Basically, they told on themselves. Like, they told on themselves, basically. And basically what Luke Ryan was able to do, he was able to get a copy of the emails of the prosecution's office. And within these emails, they so stupid. They are saying, like, they're referencing all of her diary entries. They're referencing all of this, like her having a therapist, all of this. All of it. In these emails, and people in the prosecution's office are like, hey, yeah, do we really want to make this a big thing? Like, was she really taking LSD? Like, they trying to downplay it or whatever.
Yo.
They trying to downplay
like, what is going on?
So it ended up coming out that she did go to substance abuse therapy since the first time she saw somebody was in 2009. And she confessed that she started selling drugs as soon as she got her job. So as soon as she started working at Hinton,
immediately got on it.
Immediately. But then she said the drugs there wasn't that good. And then when she got to Amherst, that's when she really started like giving it up.
Yo, now she giving the tea on which location got the better stuff or not.
And so, as of 2015, Sonja was released. In April 2016, Annie was released.
Yeah, free the girls.
And
All right.
In 2017, the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court dropped 21,587 drug convictions that were processed by Annie Dookhan. And then I believe it was about 9,000 or 10,000 for Sonja that they dismissed. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get exact numbers. As of 2023,
hey yo,
the state attorney general Maura Healey has announced a $14 million civil settlement with roughly 31,000 criminal defendants whose cases were thrown out. So 31,000 cases was thrown out because these two. And yeah.
So did the 14 million get divvied up amongst those 31,000?
Yeah.
Like,
this is as of 20. I mean, this.
So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, what's the math on that? Like, what's the math on that? Let me.
I mean, I think it depends on a lot. I don't think everybody's getting even. You know what I'm saying? Equal numbers.
Okay, yeah. It depends on like probably the severity of your shit. Yeah. Like, I get it. Damn, bro.
But yeah, that is the story of Sonja, Farak, and Annie Dookhan, and they was going crazy. And who do you feel is worse? Do you feel like saying shit is like saying that's cocaine and it's really salt is worse? Or do you feel like I'm high as a bitch at work right now and I'm high every day and I'm hallucinating and I'm smoking crack?
I feel like now that I heard both their stories, I think Annie is worse because like her shit just seemed very lazy and motiveless. You feel me?
Yeah.
Whereas like why the fuck was I already call her Sophia? Sonja shit seemed like she just struggling. Like, yeah, just struggling. Like, just anybody else that's battling with some type of addiction. I think she just so happened to be in, like, the worst possible place you could be as somebody that is an addict. You know what I'm saying? I don't, like... Now, I don't know, like, from what I was listening to, it seemed like it's kind of a gray area. Like, yeah, she started stealing drugs as soon as she started working there, but, like, was she already doing drugs?
No, she didn't.
She started...
She didn't touch a drug until she started working at the lab.
So I feel like, see, with that, I can understand that. Like, that was just a moment of weakness. She gave into, like, the temptation of, like, I wonder what that's like. And sadly, everything else was just a domino effect of, like, poor judgment. You feel me? And that's it. But with fucking Annie, that shit seems like, just like I said, very... just lazy and just very just dumb and evil. Like, bro, people's lives are ruined. Niggas said she'll take 1 out of 30 samples and be like, yeah, the rest of them must be coke. Like, bro, this is people's freedom. Like, I actually felt kind of bad for Sonja, but Annie, no, bro. They should have kept her longer.
Nigga said, put you under the jail.
Bro, under the jail. Like, I'm rooting for Sonja, but yeah, Annie, bro.
So I watched a documentary and I read a couple articles, you know, like we always do.
Yeah.
And the documentary, what I didn't like about it is, and this is no tea, no shade, or it could be tea shade, but I don't really feel bad for white people. And it was trying to make me feel bad for Sonja, but I just couldn't.
So I'm assuming Annie's black.
Annie is from Trinidad, but she not black. She like Indian or well, not Indian, but like she's not black. No.
Oh.
I can show you a picture. She's Trinidadian.
Right, but like
Trinidadian is not equivalent to black.
yeah, that's why I was like, so what's her race though? Is she spicy white or like?
She's Trinidadian.
That's not a race, bruh. That's her nationality.
Nigga, I don't know her race.
Was she okay?
Well, I'm about to show you a picture.
Yeah, show me the picture, yo.
If you look at her, she looks like she could be Indian.
Let me, yo. Please, yo.
She's from Trinidad.
Okay, all right.
Right, you see what I'm saying? She's not a nigger.
Bruh, she not a nigger, but she definitely not like white either. We just gonna post a pic. Yo.
God forgive me. Oh my God. All right.
Yeah, I want to say, see, you trying to send me to a place, bro. Yo, for those that are just listening, bro, Mo had just showed me something, bro. I don't know if this part is getting cut or not, but Mo just showed me some shit that just
we can make fun of her.
Crazy.
We can make fun of her because she ruins lives.
That was Annie too, right?
That was Annie.
Yeah.
She's ruined. This is Sonja. Sonja gay.
But for real?
Yeah, she gay.
All right.
You know, that's
and Sonja, I ain't gonna lie, she like somebody I could be like cool with. You know what I'm saying? Annie looked like she was never trustworthy to begin with. Like, I'm gonna definitely make sure that, you feel me, when this get promoted, like I post a picture of both people. But like, bruh.
Yeah, I just feel like it's just no excuse. And the reality is, like, when I was really, after I did my research and stuff and I was really thinking about it, and I was just like, when you really think about it, first of all, when it comes to drug cases, black and brown people, you know what I'm saying, are affected the most. And if you pull black and brown, you know what I'm saying, you just gotta plead. And they say, and if you got a public defender, and you could know in your heart, like, bruh, like, I did not have no cocaine, no heroin, like, that's not that. That's X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like they said, the chemists now have to go to court to testify. But if I'm poor and I'm black, and I got a public defender, you're gonna be like, bro, I'm not doing that. I'm not about to cross-examine this chemist who has no discrepancies within their career. You know what I'm saying?
Damn,
like,
man, when you put it like that.
When you think about it, like, because they said, like, Annie was praised for years, damn near a decade. Same thing as Sonja.
That's crazy.
So yeah, like, I really don't. They try to, when you watch it, if you watch the documentary, I forgot what it's called, but I'm putting it in the description. They try to, like, make you feel sympathy, and I'm like, I could never feel sympathy.
Yeah,
because
like,
they even said, like, Sonja was on some shit, like, she was on the same shit that Annie was on, like, I mean, they did it. If they had it on them, they did it. Something. And Sonja was like, yeah, I was high every day, but I don't feel like it affected my quality of work. Like, bitch, what you talking about? Like, I was like, I don't feel no sympathy. Like, okay, you did what you did, and you know what I'm saying, you went to jail, but the shit that you did is very severe. Like, I don't like, you got off light to me.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say.
Like,
it's just
you ruined people's
people's
lives, bro. You ruined people's lives, and it was people, like I said, that got out of jail and had to go back because it took damn near, what it said, I think it said 21 months since she got arrested for them to even start to look at, oh, maybe she been getting high this whole time.
Yeah.
So if in 2005 she was looking at one of my drugs that I got booked on, and she messed it up, and I've been sitting since 2005, it's like, what you mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? What you mean? Like, the quality of your work don't have nothing to do with you being high all day. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So,
and then sending people back to jail, like
sending people back to jail, saying like, yeah, we gotta look into it, and then be like, oh, never mind, y'all gotta go back.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
but that's crazy, but it's not surprising. I mean, like, you know how the prison industrial complex is. Like, it's not meant to rehabilitate like they say it is. They just use it to punish. So I feel like
but yeah,
just
y'all,
money.
Excuse me. This was like a not heavy.
Wasn't heavy, but definitely a serious or ending, I'd say.
Yeah. Eye opener.
Hell yeah.
But
I mean, you know what that mean, yo. If we
What
do
it
some shit
mean?
like that, I mean, we got to do something outlandish to end it, just to like break that for real. Yo.
All right. He's a god. He's a hero.
Nah, niggas said.
Don't fuck with my sis.
Hold up, yo. And then let me hit a rendition of your Halo.
No.
All right. Let me just say the one line, yo. They didn't even put up a fight. They didn't even make. I ain't even gonna hit it for you. Anyway,
see what I deal with.
Yo. See, I'm gonna get into this one. What's the word? But no, yo. I wish you could just see the antics, yo, because somebody was literally throwing things at me.
Where's the proof? How
And
Sway?
See, yo.
You don't got the answer, Sway.
You know what? Sway literally had the answers. Kanye was just being an asshole. But I don't have the answers right now. Yeah.
So, all right, y'all. Thank y'all for listening to another episode of Shoot the 60 podcast.
Bye.
Once again, I want to shout out our new cameraman, Jamil Robinson. Yeah, come in the camera.
Right. Get it? Yo,
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, yo.
You see the setup? It's because of him. It's because of him. So, yeah, go fuck with him. Jamil Robinson Studios.
I was gonna say we're plugging his information at the end.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like,
but you can't take him away from us.
You can't take him away from us, though. I'm sorry.
All right, we out of here. Bye.
Sorry, Joe.